It's a pretty neat thing to step out here and see all this red, white, and blue. And red, white, and blue, of course, stands for the United States of America. And whether you're happy or blue the day after the election, I hope we're still the United States of America, still pulling in the same direction, still living on the same dreams. And part of this campaign is about laying out the path to restore our American dream. You know, Marilyn and I have had the great good fortune and gift from God to live the American dream. We fell in love back in high school. We got married in 72. We didn't have anything going for ourselves by 75. We had a negative net worth of $5,000, and she was waiting tables for tips. And I looked at that and I thought, somebody's going to have to take charge. And I didn't realize that if I tried to do that I didn't build that. But I came back home that day and I said to Marilyn, guess what? Today I'm a man. And she looked at me with that bored look of what else is new. And I said, no, I am. I have to take charge of this. Nobody's going to come and feed us. Nobody's going to take care of us. Nobody's going to offer me that magnificent job. We're going to have to earn it, and I'm putting plans together starting today to set about to earn it. 3 months later, I started a business. And by August of 75, I bought an old beaten-up bulldozer, and I welded on it for 2 weeks. I rolled it out to the field, and I thought, now the money's going to start rolling in, and the American dream is already here. Well, the sad part of that was that before we grossed the first $100, the engine blew up. And about a week and a half later, there was Marilyn, 4.5 months pregnant with our first child, in the rain with a 7-foot cheater pipe standing on the tracks of an old beaten-up D7 torquing the head bolts. We rolled it. Good woman. We rolled her back. We rolled that machine back and put it to work. And then a year or so later, we bought another machine and another one, hired a man, and I'm at payroll for 28 years. In that period of time, Marilyn and I raised 3 sons. They're in their mid-30s now. We didn't raise them to go somewhere else to get an education and not look back and figure out how we were going to buy plane tickets to see our grandkids. We raised them to build their future here, in western Iowa, near our home, out of this land. And today, Marilyn and I can go to church with our 3 sons, our 3 wonderful daughters-in-law, our 5 grandchildren, and come back out of there as we did last Sunday and come to our place, and the kids spill it on the deck, fight over the rope swing, play with the dogs, target shoot with the rifle, and have some good old, well, this was chicken grilling on last Sunday. That's as good as life gets for me. It's great life. And we want you to have those same opportunities. We want our children to live like that. We want our grandchildren to live like that. And one of the great things about this fair is you can walk through here. I can hardly wipe the smile off my face. The best that Iowa has to offer comes here to this fair. You see quality people with strong faith, strong families, a great work ethic. And it's demonstrated up and down the Midway, all across this fair. And I can spend every day here doing that because of the example that you do. But America has been taken down the wrong path.
Amen.
Yeah. America has been taken down the path that undermines the pillars of American exceptionalism. The things that we believe in, the things that made us great, the things that our founding fathers identified and plugged most of them into the Bill of Rights and added a few more things to it like free enterprise for another one. And the strong Judeo-Christian character and core of our faith that's held us together and made our free enterprise work and held our societies together, all of that's under assault right now. And I'm about defending the pillars of American exceptionalism. I am about restoring the pillars of American exceptionalism. And that was one of the things that drove me to run for Congress, and it's one of the things that drives me to be re-elected to Congress today. And so, what's the agenda coming into the future? How do we restore our American dream? The number one plank and the platform of the next President of the United States, of this current member of Congress, and hopefully the 4th District member of Congress, is the full 100% repeal of ObamaCare. Now, you all know that I fought Obamacare for over 2.5 years. And you know that it's unaffordable, unsustainable, it rations care, it creates lines, people die in lines waiting for health care. It happens in Canada, it happens in the United Kingdom, it happens around the world. We have a great health care system. We have a problem with our health insurance system. But going into Obamacare, we had 1,300 health insurance companies in the United States, over 100,000 possible policy varieties. That's competition. You let them buy insurance across state lines, you've got magnificent competition and personal responsibility besides. First, though, before we can replace, we must first repeal, or there's nothing to replace. And what Obamacare does in the middle of this is this. Just think about this. The most sovereign thing that any of us have is our own soul. This part inside of that is our faith. It is the management of our own faith. That's sovereign. We can protect that. At least they haven't touched that. But the second most sovereign thing you have is your health, your body, your skin, and everything inside it. You can't have a government takeover of your health. You can't have the government telling you you don't get this test and you shall pay this price and we're going to give you this policy, and if you can't afford it, we're going to charge somebody else to buy you a policy that the government approves and give you a 15-member IPAB board, an independent payment advisory board that will decide if you get a hip replacement, if you get a knee, if you get an x-ray. We can't have that. The second most sovereign thing we have is our health, our skin, and everything inside it. And Obamacare is the nationalization, the government takeover of our health. We can't have it. It's got to go full 100% Second is looking at the debt and deficit. When I first went to Congress, I went to the chairman of the Budget Committee and said, "Where's our balanced budget?" He said, "We can't balance the budget. We're at war. We've just been attacked by, in September 11th, 2001. We had to stand up TSA and our military, and they attacked our financial centers. We can't possibly balance the budget." Well, I thought we could. Set about to write a balanced budget. It was a very difficult task back in those days. But as we moved through, here's what happened. In the middle of the war in Iraq, we got within $160 billion of balancing the budget. $160 billion is a long ways away for my pocketbook. But boy, I'd like to have that task today. We could balance the budget in a week if we had if it was only $160 billion. The president offered a $1.33 trillion deficit spending budget for this year. He's adding trillion-dollar budgets every year, and we're looking at, just in a few days, we'll go over the top of $16 trillion. My most recent little granddaughter, little Reagan Ann King, she was born, and she came into the world, and I got to hold her in the first minutes of her life. Just a glorious thing. And I had to give her up to her mother, of course. But little Reagan's share of the national debt the day she was born was $44,000. $44,000. That's the debt on the head of every baby born into America then. On her first birthday, her share was $48,000. And when she was a year and a half, her share was $51,000. Now she's 20 months or a little more than that old. It's a little more than that, $51,000. And only half the people have a federal income tax liability, so I think her share is $102,000. Poor girl. No wonder she wakes up at night once in a while and cries. But we've got to turn that around. And I've come to the conclusion that the will to balance the budget doesn't exist in the United States Congress today. Doesn't certainly exist in the Senate. The president stopped about even cutting the deficit. He stopped talking about that in the last couple of years. He has no will to balance the budget. We know that. There's no question about it. The Senate blocks the movement on the part of the House, but the House still, even though it's a Republican House, does not yet have the will to balance our budget. We need you, the American people, to rise up and demand a balanced budget amendment to the United States Constitution.